Feminism is the belief that all humans, whether male or female, deserve equal rights. In the 2014 Huffington Post essay, Why We Still Need Feminism, Casey Kavanaugh explains what the true meaning of feminism is, how feminism is often misconstrued in the media, the ways in which women's rights are still unequal to the rights of men, and why there is still a need for feminism. My name is Alexandra Russo, and I chose to speak about this essay because feminism is something that I've always been very passionate about. Feminism is a term that is widely misunderstood and often negatively portrayed. Feminists are often described as angry women who hate men and are attention-seeking, but that is not the case. Feminists want everyone to have equal social, political, and economic rights, and as long as that is not the case worldwide, there will continue to be a need for feminism. Kavanaugh begins by explaining the confusion and negative stigma attached to the term feminism. YouGov conducted a survey to females only, asking if they consider themselves to be feminist. On slide 1, you can see the results of that survey. As you can see, 65% of respondents said no, they do not consider themselves to be feminist. Then they provided the respondents with the dictionary definition of what a feminist is, which is someone who believes in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes. They asked them again if they considered themselves to be feminists. If you go to slide 2, you will see the results of that question. Now, 69% of the respondents said that yes, they actually do consider themselves to be feminists. This goes to show how detrimental the negative stigma surrounding the term feminism is to the mission of feminism, which is equality for all people. Feminism is not about women having special privileges or entitlements. It's about empowering women and helping society to view women as strong and equal individuals. Many people believe that feminism is a thing of the past that is no longer needed. Women can vote and work in the United States, but the battle is not over. Although we make up more than 50% of the population in the United States, women make up less than 20% of the seats in Congress. Yes, women can work, but if you go to slide 3, you can see that for every dollar earned by a man, a woman earns 79 cents. This is better than the 23% pay gap that Kavanaugh describes in her essay, which was written in 2014, but is still not equal. Kavanaugh explains many ways that there is still a need in the United States for feminism, such as the fact that we raise women believing they can't travel places on their own because they'll make themselves easy targets for men. We expect women to give up their last names when they're married, and we raise children believing that they should have different interests based on their gender. These are things I always relate to because I was raised believing, if you're out, you don't go to the bathroom by yourself because you're an easy target. And I am also the mother of a little girl who goes to school and comes home upset because she can't play with her friends who are playing with cars because they say you can't play with cars, you're a girl. We also still need feminism because, as Kavanaugh explains in her essay, although the U.S. has come a long way with women's rights, a lot of countries have not, and these women do not have the opportunity to speak on this topic as we do, so we need to speak for these women. On slide number 4, you can see that 29 countries still practice female genital mutilation. This is the act of cutting off and restitching female genitals in order to prevent women from having pleasure during sex. Kavanaugh also explains that 120 countries don't have laws against marital rape and still allow a child to be a bride as young as 6 years old. On the last slide, you can see my daughter, who is 6 years old, and I just can't imagine that if she was born in a different country, she could potentially be a bride to someone right now. Until every woman across the world has equal rights as men, feminism is still needed. Kavanaugh's purposes for writing this essay are to explain to the reader the real meaning and mission of feminism, show how the media is creating a negative stigma around feminism, explain the inequalities women face around the world, and to persuade the reader to get on board with the idea that all humans deserve equal rights. I explain some of the similarities I experience in my life experiences with Kavanaugh's, and some of the differences I've experienced are that a lot of what Kavanaugh describes in her text, such as female genital mutilation and child brides, I knew about, but I didn't know were still going on today. The author uses an interesting making use of connotative language. When describing how feminists are viewed, she says they are viewed as unapologetically supporting abortions. In this sentence, unapologetically is used to create a feeling of ruthlessness and being without concern for the fetus. Later in the essay, Kavanaugh uses the word unapologetically, but with a different connotation. The author says, feminists want women to have the freedom to look and behave however they want unapologetically. In this sentence, she's using unapologetically to suggest a feeling of freedom and being without concern for others' judgment. Kavanaugh is writing from the worldview of a female in the United States, which I can obviously relate to. The only changes I can suggest would be that I would maybe elaborate a little more on the changes we can make in gender role assumption to establish equality in expectations for everyone. In conclusion, society in the US has come a long way in women's rights and equality. There is still a ton of work to be done. Feminism is about doing that work and not giving up until all humans have equal social, political, and economic rights. Feminists are not only fighting for these rights, but we're also fighting against a negative portrayal in the media and a misunderstanding for what our mission is. As long as there are inequalities against men and women, there will be a need for feminism. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, you can comment below.